What was that? Charged yet. I think you need to wait for Calvin.
Hey, folks.
Hello.
How's everybody doing for the new year? I guess this is your second meeting for the new year. I missed the other one.
Doing good. The other meeting was somewhat uneventful. You didn't miss much.
I guess we're just waiting for Ron. Lon says he's joining.
Hello everyone. Sorry. Okay, let's see.
There's one.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, we can start with the last year's use cases. So I guess I went over this last time. So some cleanup on the front page so that it doesn't look as horrible it used to. So I'm waiting on this PR. This is to update the chair list. I can merge this, except I just want to make sure I'm just following process here. So once the upstream is merged, then I think I'll just go ahead and merge this. Okay. So last week, Sarah was in the meeting and she said she could talk about CNAB artifacts. I'm not sure if she's going to make it this meeting. Okay. So this is the
When you said, sorry, Ram, you said who? Sarah?
Sarah, yeah.
Sarah, which one?
Sarah Christoph.
Oh, there we go. Gotcha. I didn't see the screen.
Yeah, she's I think the CNAB expert, I believe. So yeah, she wanted to give a talk about CNAB and its use cases. And I'm not sure how wide the adoption of CNAB has been, but at least we may get some ideas and at least another variant of the requirements. So. Okay, so this is something that I put together in terms of the search thing, and this could very well be strike that and make it make it CNCF, but so this was Steve. I believe this is something that he filed a while ago, and what I did was I made a pull request out of this. Let's see.
Yeah, we had a couple of conversations at some KubeCon events a while ago, and we had some good conversations started. Just they got a little bogged down.
Yeah, so
That's part of why we. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say part of that's why we created this work group, right? Is to make sure we can make progress and not be bogged down by things that aren't ready to go as fast. So this way you can kind of do an extension and innovate on its own. And if it has adoption, great, and they can adopt it. And if not, it's okay too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was my thinking as well. So these are use cases that actually came out of Zort use cases. I mean, from your document as well as what we have in Zort as well. So that's what I sort of try to summarize. So these are the things that Zort is able to do today.
That's quite a list.
Yes, so let me just share that if anyone is interested. So I think one of the issues was with after from Docker V1 to Docker V2, we lost the search capability. I think that's a big loss, and this is actually a very important requirement, the ability to search.
Sorry, my mic was muted. So Docker does have a search API. They just did it on their own. I think at the time they needed to make sure it got out and didn't want to get bogged down either. But they do have a search API, not just the one that's in Docker CLI, but well, maybe that is the one that they backed as well. But they added a new search capability.
Okay, so so what shall we do in terms of the next steps here? That is the question. Should we continue to focus on the OCI path, which may take a while, or should we just go ahead and do it as a CNCF thing and continue with that?
I mean, the idea was to continue it here, because we weren't seeing progress there, and then add, you know, as you made progress. And I think doing it on Zod is awesome. That would just be my suggestion.
Okay, so
I mean, Kyle, do you have an opinion?
I mean, I think Zot's fine. I was hoping to see the demo of the Helm work that was done.
yes, Andy, Andy was that's correct. Andy was supposed to give us a demo as well. So yeah, it's not here either. Okay. Yeah, we have to. So we're hoping to actually put together something for the KubeCon Europe.
Awesome.
And yeah, we have to make sure. I mean, the uptake for SBOM, CVs, all of that is going to ramp up as soon as the OCI artifacts thingy we cut a release, which is we're very close. I think last meeting I think we sort of agreed after several years of working on it. The consensus is just insanely hard in OCI, but it is what it is, right? So I think that once that happens, I expect this to ramp up, and I think once that happens, then the search thing starts becoming more important. So the ORAS stuff is so Zot also supports ORAS, and ORAS is under CNCF. It is at /v2/ORAS, right, or /ORAS, whatever the prefix is. So we can sort of make a similar thing here and say that if it is CNCF, then we can say prefix something with prefix or something with some Aura slash search or something and start working with that, because we can wire it based on what the API should look like. Then based on that, we can start wiring it in Zot.
Yeah, when you say auras though, I mean, auras itself doesn't have, I think your question is, where do you incubate the search API?
That is correct.
Is that what you're?
Yes.
So I wouldn't necessarily, we had discussed doing it under auras. At the time, I think it's because we are gonna focus when I was, running ACRs to run on the ACR registry. But if you're gonna use Zot as an implementation, then I would suggest just do it there. This way
Yeah,
you're
that's
not-
fine. I mean, yeah, but as a standard, right, we want to say that the prefix has to be somewhere.
That's what I'm saying, make
so-
the prefix. Unless you can get the auras maintainers to agree that they want to add that, and I don't know what
No.
their appetite is.
I don't want to mix these two things. That would be very confusing
Yeah.
for people.
So I think you can do it as, maybe you can do it a work group artifacts if you want to do that namespace, CNCF WG artifacts, or maybe just do it as Zot. I think the first thing is don't worry about the namespace. My opinion, don't worry about the namespace, get something unique and see if the functionality is great. If people love the functionality, then the namespace can be, an interesting conversation. If the functionality isn't interesting, then who cares what it's called, because nobody's going to use it.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
This way you can do it completely under Zot. You don't have to answer to anybody but the Zot maintainers. And once you're liking the direction it's going, then you could talk about moving it somewhere.
Okay. So what I think I would like next is a quick review of, maybe I'll port this over this PR, instead of being in distribution spec, I'll just port this over into our artifacts, and let's go from there. I think, because then we can iterate over it without waiting for the OCA folks.
Exactly.
Okay, let's do that.
Dependency management.
Yeah.
Reduce dependencies.
Okay. All right, I can take an action item on that one. Let me ping Andy actually. So let's see if he can make it at least for the next meeting. So. Because from what I understand, he travels a lot. So
he does. That's his full life. Yes.
Oh man. Okay, so I think we'll narrow the scope. So let's keep it a narrow scope so that we can start making progress on this.
Sounds great.
So Steve, let me do an initial PR of this as a requirements documentation, and then we can start fleshing out details. So, like I said, the Zod search already has quite a bit of meat in there in terms of the schemas, what we do, and all of that stuff.
I mean, I think it's awesome if you can show the functionality in Zot and you promoted it in an API that other people were, this is where you can start getting feedback from others going, do they like the API? Do they like the parameters that go in, the parameters that come out? And if Helm and CNAB can test their capabilities on the API with a Zod instance, that starts to give that, the loop of feedback that either confirms or denies the validity.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I think we can call an end of this meeting. I think an early end. What do you think, Kyle? Any other feedback on this?
No. I just let me know when you need me to do something here.
Okay.
when I can help.
Okay, so I think I can actually quickly spin up a Zod with routing this whatever we have in Zod. We can route it at a different rest endpoint and let that document evolve from there. So people can actually take a Zod and build it like that, and then start making queries. And if you don't like so I would say, Kyle, I don't know if you have tried these APIs.
I have not yet. No,
Okay.
there's more here than I thought there were. Like the
yeah,
CAE ones are the ones that are looking interesting to me. There's another project I'm working on that might be valuable.
Yes. So I don't know if you have looked at so there is this beta deployment of Zot, right? We just put it up there for people, and we can go and look at it again. So these are things that so whatever you see here is actually making queries to the backend server, and it is making those GraphQL queries. So for example, this is the live query, right? So as you type this auto complete. Also, for example, not squashes. So let's say we are only making squashes. Okay, let's take something like this, right? So vulnerabilities here. There are no vulnerabilities. It actually gives you a list otherwise. And you have this artifact references. So if you have SBOMs that are pushed to here, you can actually go and get a list of them here. So all of these are actually coming from the queries that are happening in the backend.
So I realize it's just a question about Zot, but while you're here, why not? So the Zot. So it sounds like you just said you have to have the SBOMs pushed up. So Zot doesn't do like the mining of the SBOM from the.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't do that yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Currently, they are keeping things up to date. Okay, so.
So like when you search for Ubuntu there, what exactly are the fields you're searching over?
Which one? On the top?
Yeah, when you search for Ubuntu, for example.
Oh, yeah. So it is a free search. So basically the idea is it will return a list of things, a top list of things which contain the word Ubuntu.
In the path or?
In the path first, right? So for example, let's take this guy, right? So let's say
but not like in the annotations or anything like that.
Not
in the manifest.
Yeah, there yes, correct. Annotation search is still, so once you do this and do that, then it starts searching by tags.
Yep.
All of that stuff. So and whatever you see here in terms of, so the difference is whatever you see here in terms of this image, this data is in the image annotations itself. So unlike Docker Hub, where all the data is with Docker Hub, the model here is all the data is self-contained within the image inside its annotations or whatever. So when you take this image and move it somewhere else, the whole data moves with it, right? So that is the idea.
Right. Yep. So So I mean, this kind of begs for another use case that we haven't, like a user story that we haven't really talked about, which is, say I want to use a command line tool, and like Oris, or pick your favorite one, right? And I want to autocomplete not just tags, but autocomplete repositories. So like the tool I have internally, it autocompletes tags for you, but there's no API to autocomplete the repository, which in some sense is kind of the more important part. So like given a repository prefix, there's no way to find the repositories under it without using a proprietary API. I mean, Zot can obviously answer that question with a non-standard, not proprietary, but like not OCI, not agreed upon by any client kind of API. That might be a user story that's interesting. That's broad reaching, that affects all clients that they all could benefit from. There's the Helm user story that I really want to understand a little bit better. That's what I'm hoping that Andy, I think is his name, right? Hopefully he can come and talk to us about what he did, or I want to just understand the problem more than anything. Yeah, I don't know. It's my 2 cents.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let me do one thing, Kyle. So what I will do is let's do a simple change first, which is I will take Zot, I will fork it, and let me route the whatever GraphQL queries we have. Instead of an OCI route, I'll put it under a CNCF route. Okay, and then you can make those GraphQL queries and see what you. So first of all, we are assuming it is going to be GraphQL, and I think it is reasonable because in one query you are potentially doing a join across lots of things, right? So that is why it is useful that way. But at least so that's one part. The other part is we can reuse a bunch of interfaces that we already have defined in Zot and refine them to what the requirements would be. So you may or may not agree with what Zot has done, right? So we can take that feedback and polish it. What do you think?
I think whether to make it a kind of more true REST API or use GraphQL, it's probably a debatable topic, I imagine.
Yes, it is a debatable topic.
I'm not sure which side I land on there.
Sorry, I was saying, Kyle, like, isn't that the debate we want to have? Like, there has to be some level of capability that there's got to be some minimal. It can't just be, here's a text string of responses. There has to be something structured to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to find time the next few days and let's see how that goes.
Awesome.
Okay. All right.
I think it's this is just in that spirit of build it and they shall come. If you can show get like the Helm community, get the CNAB community engaged, and they're like, man, this is awesome, we should add this, then you're kind of you're getting validation. If there's a bunch of crickets, then that speaks loudly too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right, folks.
All right. Bye, Steve. Thank you. Bye, Kat. Yeah. Thanks for joining the call.
Bye.